There. And nicotine. All right. What's up, Mohammed, Jason, RXD, Super, I always, Femk, Triangle, how's it going? Oh, it's coming from my phone. That's what it's coming from. I was wondering, I was getting some reverb of, like, epic proportions. So. What's up, Inferno Firestyle? How is it going, y'all? Happy Saturday. Wow, Dolly actually put an episode out within a month of each other. It's a world record. G1 Quiznos, pleasure as always. Guys, we're sitting pretty today. It's a good day, you know? New episodes out. It's performed pretty good. Yeah, all right. So I will keep that question in mind. We're going to we'll do what we usually do, KHS, and we're gonna give it a minute, but that will be the first question I answer. But we're just kind of one of those things where we give it a minute, let people roll in. Before I start going over the questions to prevent me from having to answer too many of them, the same ones later. Though I will still do that. Oh, nice. A cruise Inferno style. Living it up. What's up, Axo? Raichu fan, how's it going? Pikachu was finally used in gym battle. He's only been in 2 so far, not counting Ash's first Brock battle. Yeah, no, I really wanted to bring Pikachu back. Yeah, Pikachu has officially learned Thunder Wave. It's on its level up learn set. It's how Electabuzz do it, so it's just like I can do that shit. It is a nice Saturday. All right, now we're getting people rolling in. So it's so nice doing these Q&A streams right after the episode debuts. Makes my life a whole lot easier, man. Let me tell you, because I usually head down to my mom's on Sundays, and so it's either I gotta not go down on Sunday or I gotta like phone stream it from there. But I much prefer doing here. All right, let's address the Crobat situation. So why did I choose Crobat? So, when it comes to, I think I did it for a few reasons. Of the poisonous, well, because for starters, I knew Muck and Wheezing were going to be acting as the first mons for each battle. What's up, Hamza? And looking at the rest of the poison types, they were either grass poisons like Vileplume or Victreebel, which I wasn't interested in. Like, I wasn't going to use any of the Nidos. I wasn't going to use Venusaur. I wasn't going to use Arbok. Like, there were, probably Arbok's the only one I would consider on that list. Gengars, Agathas, so I didn't want to use that, So, kind of Golbat is kind of what it came into. But also, Crobat is, like, Koga's ace, or at least I treat it as Koga's ace in Johto, I believe. I think that's his ace Pokemon there. So, with an evolution like that, because we're in the latter half of Kanto, we're going to slowly kind of see an introduction more to Johto mons to signify the transition to the region. But also, Golbat to Crobat doesn't require any special items. It's not not regional locked. It's just a high friendship. It makes more sense in that he has a Crobat than a Golbat. And also, I know Crobat will become his ace in my verse eventually when he becomes an Elite Four member, like in the games. So I thought, why not introduce it now? We get a cool reveal that the audience is not going to expect. No one thought, because everyone's going to... You guys gave me the reactions I was looking for. It was, Crobat? What the fuck? And that's the reactions I live for on this channel. So, like, one, shock value. Two, it made sense. It's also Pokemon. I really wanted to use Pikachu for this gym battle. Like, because Pikachu's still a Pikachu, and he's pretty strong, but, like, higher levels of combat are very difficult for Pikachu because he is young and he is unevolved. So it's hard on him. So Crobat kind of fits that nice niche where it's a Pokemon that can definitely take out Pikachu if it wanted to, but it kind of comes down to a battle of speed. Pikachu gets a type advantage, and I wanted to really show off Pikachu in this episode. Does Jesse and James Pokemon evolve? Yeah, they've definitely evolved at this point. Will the gym leaders have 2 or 3 Pokemon, or will some of them more? So some of them will have more, definitely. Like, as we get to the higher levels, we will see more Pokemon being displayed other than just, like, 3. It will vary generally, depending on the gym. If you're wondering, why did I only have 2v2s for this one? Well, it's because I'm trying to get the episode out in 2 weeks. So longer battles take more time. Longer episodes take more time. I would not be able to get like a 20 to 30 minute episode done in the 2 weeks I got this one done. The second reason is because I knew I was going to have Green and Ash battle. So if it was just Ash, I would have done a 4v4. But because Green is there as well, I wanted them to have equal opportunity. You know, I put in world-wise, Koga's under kind of a time crunch here. Like, he has a tournament to prepare for, so he doesn't usually have time. Like, he shouldn't really have time for a gym battle. But he made time for them. So that's why it was a shorter battle for each 2v2. But if you do notice, one thing is that he did use an interesting strategy, which is he used a more tankier Pokemon as his first Pokemon and then a faster flyer as his secondary Pokemon. Which was something I thought was neat because you have Venomoth and Crobat and then Muck and Weezing. Will we see more of Gary and Green battling as well as Giselle? Of course. If you're going to ask questions like, will Cupid evolve? I'm just so you know, I'm not answering them because those are spoilers. I like the shorter episode idea, but I think we might need a long run for the tournament because I really hope the tournament doesn't get split up. Yeah, generally we will see, like, if you think I'm going to do full tournament, and by that I mean every battle is going to be shown, we're not doing that. Like, the battles that don't matter aren't, like, we'll see glimpses, but we're not going to get into that. Like, if like, say Brock is facing some random fodder character, you might get a glimpse of it, but I'm not going to be like, here's the full, like, you know, however many versus however many. But I will be, like, showing off the actual important battles. You guys will see when I get to the episode. I don't know how long it will be. I don't know if it will get split up. We're just going to wait and see. But the shorter episodes seem to be doing well. This next tournament episode will be my first episode where I'm actually writing it with the intention of it being a shorter episode, because these last short episodes have been my usual episodes. Like, 7, 8, 9 are just one episode that I divided into 3 due to time constraints and life busy. But it is, I actually realized I did have to get this episode out today because next week is Thanksgiving. So no one's going to be watching next Saturday on videos. They're going to be spending time with their family, at least for the Americans out there. You know, it was kind of one of those things where I really did need to get the episode out. But I'm going to use this week to do writing and planning, because this is an episode that requires planning. This is not an episode I can just write a bunch of crap out and just do that. So again, don't expect an episode to be like 2 week fast. Like, I'm moving this week. I got family coming in for Thanksgiving. It's a busy week. So it's kind of a rest week where I plan out this tournament and get everything to set. I'm going to try and get it all into one video, but if I find that it's like I'm not able to get content out quick enough for that long of an episode, I might divide it up, but I will try and keep it like more of a... It will be entertaining, is how I'll put it. Also, I understand why everyone is doing it, but I severely doubt Ash will not get his Pokemon from the tournaments, because otherwise, why would it be set up? Also, but I severely doubt Ash will not get this Pokemon from the... Sorry, I read that wrong. I was so confused. Like, not get his Pokemon. Not get this Pokemon, because otherwise, Why would it be set up? Of course, yeah. I'm not saying yes or no on that. I'm just saying, like, I understand your logic behind it. Would that mean Blissey could appear? Of course. Like, you guys will notice as we get through this series, not just Kanto, but other regions, I will constantly make references to other regions, because while I am trying to stick in a Gen 1 centered area for Kanto and stuff, and that means I can slowly introduce some other Pokemon, like Crobat, like Togepi, you know, who are Gen 2 Pokemon. We're not in a bubble. Like, if, how do I put this? Johto and the rest of the regions are still out there actively going on right now. It's not like I have to wait for Johto to be created first to mention Johto. Like, Johto's been mentioned several times now. So it's one of those things where, it's, yeah, so it's a living, breathing world, and I want to try and enforce that while trying to stick within the constraints of the region. Because by sticking to the constraints of the region, I can, one, keep that spirit of the anime alive that I want to do, where it feels like you're watching the Gen 1 anime. That doesn't mean you don't see some slow references in there and stuff. It will never be anything major. Like, you're not gonna, like, I don't know even the way to put it where it'd be anything major. But, like, I also do, like, logic-based things. Janine is Koga's daughter. Even though she didn't appear in the anime, to my knowledge, I don't think she appeared. And she's from Gen 2, technically, even though she is the Kanto gym leader. Why wouldn't I use her here? Like, it'd be weirder if she wasn't here. So, like, you're going to see a lot of those when it comes to your references to future regions. I won't go too far with them, though. Johto, like, the next region up in the lineup is very easy for me to do. You're not going to see Pyroar in Gen 1 as a physical Pokemon. Maybe you see a poster in the background that's like a sports team with a Pyroar on it and stuff. Like, that's a reference where you're like, oh, that's a Pyroar, Kalos, but we're in Gen 1. It's like, stuff like that is what I'm talking about for references. But you'll see more direct stuff for things that are closer in length. Is Koga the only Kanto trainer who loved his Golbat to evolve? Yes. Does Koga and Sabrina... Well, actually, there probably are other Crobats in the region. But just like Koga is a dedicated poison specialist. I don't even know. I'm trying to, like... Yes, there are Crobats in this region. Does Koga and Sabrina and ATR still have a custody battle over Venomoth like in the mainline series? Sabrina does not have one. She lost the custody battle, unfortunately. Who is Koga more impressed with, Green or Ash? That's a question. That's a great question, Mohammed. That's actually a real great question. Who was he impressed by more? He was more impressed by Green's strategy and her training of her Pokemon. But he was also equally impressed by Pikachu's power and speed, for one, to be able to keep up with Crobat, and Cubone's power to be able to tank explosions and deal damage to Weezing. And its creative use of its Boomerang. So, he's impressed with them in different ways. So, I think he's equally impressed with both, but Green, it's in the more traditional sense. Ash, it's in the more unusual sense. And he respects both because Green just showed she was a good trainer, like most trainers, though she is of a higher caliber. Like, her and Gary are obviously trainers of a higher caliber despite being new, so that's why they're impressive. Ash is impressive because he, in a weird way, Koga respects the way he fights because it's very tricky. You can't really predict it. Like, the Thunder Wave pullout was very unique, especially because he, rather than just shoot off Thunder Waves like Thunderbolts, because Ash realized that Koga's Crobat could dodge those, he had it basically AoE spread the attack out. So Koga was like, that's a great way to be able to get your attack off, because Crobat was unable to dodge it. Yes, Ninja Magic, Ruben. Either in the ATR verse, Crobat is the first Gen 2 Mons revealed, or we're in the end game now. We are in the end game. Like, we are in the latter half of this series, because literally we have like 3 gyms left after this, and I already know just a hand, like 2 to 3 minor episodes in between those. Well, 4, 5, around 5. That's not a hard number. That's me guesstimating of stuff I know is going to happen. About 5 episodes in between those 3 gym battles, so we have 8 episodes, I believe, before the league. depending on how I compress and spread them out. In your verse, do Kanto and Johto have separate Elite Fours? No, they are under one Elite Four. Currently, the Elite Four structure of Kanto is undergoing a change because they've used a tradition where there's the Elite Four, and the strongest Elite Four is the champion, that being Lance. But they're slowly adapting to the way other leagues in the world do it currently, where there are 4 Elite Four and 1 champion. I love the moment of Green spraying Gary with water like a misbehaving dog. Yeah, no, definitely. That was a really fun moment for me. So it is one of those, it's like one of those things where I want to show off their dynamic a little bit more, where Green is a wild and rowdy child, but like it's the reason why Ash and Gary can kind of get along is because Green is there to keep Gary in check, and that was just kind of a fun gag way of representing it. Because otherwise, if Gary and Ash just despise each other, like in the anime early on, where they just hate being around each other, or they just constantly taking digs at each other, like, why would they be considered childhood friends? Green is sort of that binding agent that kind of brings them together, where they are definitely closer than they were in the anime. And in some ways, because she gives them a lightning rod, like you saw at the end, where she's like, I'm gonna win the tournament, and they shared a look with each other, where they're like, this bitch, and stuff. They're like, no, we're winning. Well, I'm winning. And no, Gary's like, no, I'm winning. Stuff like that. Why put in Koga's daughter and his sister? Expands the world, really. It's to have characters like that. Like, Koga's arranging a tournament. Obviously, his sister would be helping. Janine's there. It is her father's gym, so she kind of acts as a weird gym trainer as she trains at the gym. So it's kind of like that. It's just world building. And it's sort of like set up, like, if I want to use Janine more, I have plans for Janine, like, not like high level plans, but as a character, I want to use her more in the future. So now I've set her up, and now she's there. And now she's doesn't come out of nowhere. And it makes sense she's there. Like, why wouldn't she be at her father's gym? Are you going to use Pokemon that actually don't evolve in their selected region? Like Crobat wasn't in Kanto, but for future battles, would you give gym leaders Pokemon that evolve in different regions? Depends. Like, Crobat's kind of like a nice exception because it is a Johtomon. Generally, you'll see the Kanto gym leaders only use Kanto mons. Maybe there might be one surprise exception, but like Crobat evolves from a Kanto mon. But it's also, I try not to use mons that are too far off in the from their generation. Like Johto's coming up. We already have Togepi in here. It's like more just helping us transition to Johto and showing off their mons. Like, you won't see Blaine use a Magmortar, for instance. But, like, because that's Gen 4. That's just too far off. But Crobat's on the table. So, it's kind of in that lane. Let's say there was a gym leader that used... We saw Blissey earlier. We heard someone mention Blissey earlier. If there was a gym leader that used a Chansey, and it was their, like, ace, I wouldn't mind evolving into Blissey. Does Cubone taking off her eye patch actually power it up? No. Not at all. So Cubone, the way I modeled her character was 2 factors. She's supposed to be a classic anime delinquent girl. That's why she wears the like kind of like sports coat, and she's like kind of like the boss of, she acted like a boss of like a gang almost. But the eye patch is there's a word called like Chumbio syndrome, where it's basically like when middle schoolers in Japan act like an anime. Act like edgy, 13-year-olds, like, oh, I'm the Dark Flame Emperor, and if I remove this eye patch, my power will be unleashed. And that was part of, like, she's kind of a twofer in that way. So, it's sort of like, Cubone's tough, but she's kind of a little kid in that aspect. She's very like, yeah, it's like, oh, my dark power will be unleashed when I take off this eye patch. It's like, yes, I'm powering up. And then everyone's just like, what the fuck is this thing doing? So it doesn't power her up, but it does switch her mentality, which does help in the battle. For other regions, you do for ATR, which region are you the most excited for? Right, Hoenn is a big one. I want to get to Alola so badly. Alola will be so much fun to write, especially because of the most different. I'm really excited to watch all. Johto, I'm excited for. Johto, specifically, I guess the trio of Johto, Hoenn, and Sinnoh, I'm excited to write for because I get to evolve Ash more. Would it be okay if we used your scene backgrounds via screenshots and Magic Raising, or to use them for potential videos of our own? You mean like the backgrounds of my thing? Yeah, go for it. I mean, I'm ripping them from the anime, so I have no jurisdiction over them. So feel free. hypothetically, if you do other regions, would you do Orange Islands, Battle Frontier? Yeah, no, definitely. We are definitely doing Orange Islands, and I believe we're doing Battle Frontier as well. I don't see why we wouldn't. Orange Islands will be the break in between Johto and Kanto. I was surprised Electabuzz can learn Teleport. Yeah, I have, it's one of those Pokemon. I write Pokemon personal stories, which are like my own interpretations of the Pokemon world, where I expand it, make it more like realistic, kind of. Like, you guys see a lot in these series how I play a lot with biology of Pokemon, where like Muck got cut in half, but was able to reform itself. You know, that's like one of those fun little things I like to do. And like look into and think about, you know, like how a Flareon has like an attack stat on the equivalent of a Machamp. And it's like, so why does this fox have, or this fox dog cat have that? And I'm like, oh, well, actually, its musculature is very dense and it's spread evenly throughout their body versus a Machamp, which is more top heavy in its musculature and strength. They tend to have weak legs. So I think about that stuff all the time. I'm constantly looking for moves for Pokemon. So I've frequented the list where I'm like, what Pokemon can learn Teleport? And Teleport seems like a move Green would teach her Electabuzz. So it's a fun thing. What's up, Psyduckson? What's my favorite episode so far? That's a tough one. Of my episodes, I think my favorite one is the Beedrill episode, because I did the animation to it and because I put the most emotion into the Beedrill episode. Like, I really tried hard in the leading episodes to Beedrill's release to really get you to connect and like Beedrill. So when it left, you felt it. Like, you felt it with Ash, where it's like, I really liked writing his little depression arc where he got Cubone, because I really wanted to show that, like, unlike the anime, where Ash just kind of moves on pretty quick. It's like, next episode, we're on to shenanigans. It's like, no, this affected Ash, you know? He lost a Pokemon he was really close to. So that was probably my favorite episode. I love the Giga Drill Breaker. Probably next up is I do like the Misty Gyarados episode solely for Psyduck's, the now it's your turn moment. So those two can kind of connect like that. What would you say is your favorite character to write for in this? In some ways, it is Giselle. I really enjoy writing Giselle because she's an interesting perspective as a character, because she's highly intelligent like Gary, but she lacks the practical experience which allowed Ash to run over her. So it's interesting to write her journey as she grows stronger and her relationship with Ash and Brock. Like, I've loved writing her and Brock under this mentor-mentee relationship. So it's been fun. She's definitely, I will be more like, I'm not uninterested in writing Ash. Ash is very fun because I get to play up into his asshole side and his snark. I will enjoy writing Ash more when I can finally get to other regions where he can actually be intelligent, because right now he has to be dumb. You know, you can see glimpses, but like, he can't learn anything because that's kind of his character arc, and you have to spread it across multiple regions. Which are Green and Blue's Pokemon did Sabrina choose, or is that technically a spoiler? So Sabrina didn't choose their Pokemon, actually. They fought her normally and won. She only did the choosing thing for Ash. Who's going to be participating in the tournament? Spoilers. Will the Indigo League tournament stay the same, or will it be different rules? Generally, it'll be the same, I think. I would have to go back and rewatch the rules. If there are rules changes, it would probably match closer to future leagues where, like, they're more uniform, but that. Was Crobat's speed the same technique Koga promised to teach Janine? No, it's just generally how fast it was. The speed technique is basically moving so fast, you throw a smoke bomb down, it makes it look like you vanish in a puff of smoke. In your verse, do Kanto and Johto have Silver Elite Fours? No, they're the same Elite Four. Why do they have black hands? Because I have to sometimes pose these characters in different ways, and it's a lot easier for me if they're just a single color. I just drew them like that early on because it allowed me to... Because I don't draw fingers in general, so I was like, who cares? It's so I can, like, easily pose the arms differently when I have to redraw 50 different facial expressions. It really helped early on when I was redrawing 50 Ashes when I had to do different poses. So which one of Ash's Pokemon are oldest and youngest? Ooh, great question. So, in order, I believe Ninetales is oldest. I think Golduck is second oldest. Tangela's next up. Then I think it's Pikachu, then Cubone. How mad do you think ATR Kalos will make your fans? Honestly, I don't think that mad. I think at that point, like, by the time we get to Kalos, so many changes I'll have made to this series, and you guys will have witnessed, like, an Ash that has gone through such a journey and a character arc that it will make sense when I do different things in Kalos. Like, I thought a lot of stuff would piss you guys off. Like, you guys can ask Abdul, like, when Samurai Trainer Z, who I do writing streams with, if you, like, you know, the amount of times I've gone and written something in these past episodes where I've gone, this is really gonna piss them off, it's gonna be great and stuff, and you guys have just either been like, the worst reaction I've ever gotten from you guys is, you know, it's always been, I'm not sure about this, but I'll see where it goes, and then usually I'll clear it up in the Q&A stream, and you guys are happy with it. No one's ever been pissed off about any of my decisions. I usually say pissing you guys off for when I talk crap on, like, Talonflame or Kalos or anything. But I don't think Kalos will make people mad, if only because we've built to that point. I think you guys will be more eager to see where Ash goes in that character arc than you would be mad. I can see someone who hasn't watched the series at all and coming to Kalos, jumping into Kalos and being like, what the fuck is this? I can see that, but not you guys, or, like, people who watched consistently. How will Ash get to Johto? Will he walk there or fly? Are we going to see his journey to Johto? I don't know. We'll see. What's up, Kuma? What's up, Misoji? I always try and read, no matter... By the way, Misoji, funny enough, I forget which YouTuber I was watching. It's funny when I scroll down, like, comments on a YouTube video or a short or something, and I see, like, I saw your name pop up. I was like, I know that guy. He's in my live streams. That happened for someone else as well. I just found that very funny. Was it Classic Man D? I don't know. Might have been. The Beedrill episode is peak, so I can understand that. Yep. Next episode is the coolest shonen shit ever. A tournament arc. Yeah, exactly. Will we see Green and Gary in future regions? Yeah, I would say so. I mean, like, if it makes sense for them to pop up, they would. What's up, Dinaloom? Besides Brock, what do you think? Who do you think actually likes/respects Ash the most? The person who likes Ash the most other than Brock is probably Green because they're childhood friends. Like, you know, Giselle's a close second there. But Ash still drives her up the wall while Green doesn't have that, like, ability to get driven up the wall by Ash. Respects Ash the most. What character does? In a weird way, I think it is kind of a tie between Gary and Green. Because they both respect Ash for different reasons, but, like, Gary and Ash wouldn't consider each other rivals if there wasn't some sort of respect that you would have to put them under severe torture to admit. You know, like, we haven't seen it because Gary's always, like, fucking with Ash. But what the fuck? Will Peters with the $20. Thank you. Gonna do an episode where Pikachu starts a Pokemon rebellion and gets humans because of what Pokemon battles are, which ends with the Team Rocket Trio mending the gap that brings both sides together. Joke laugh. That was a real idea. Go for it. Holy shit. Well, thank you, but also fun idea. Try it out. Fuck, that really took me off guard. I did not expect that on a freaking Saturday afternoon. Yeah, back to... Wow, that really... I never get donations. That blew my mind there, bro. Thank you so much. Yeah, so Gary does have a respect for Ash. We just haven't seen it yet. And it's kind of... It's kind of one of those things where it's a begrudging respect for Ash, but it's not on the traditional way. Like, they have respect for the skills that the other lacks, so to speak. You'll probably see that play into more the more they interact. Or, like, the more they get into a situation where Ash actually does need to do that. Yeah, Classic Mandy. Loved his dispatch playthrough. Oh my god, it was so fun. If we think about why would a Pokemon be given out as a prize winner? It must be a very rare. What's a very rare Pokemon that should be on his team? Farfetch. That'd be very funny. Farfetch would be a very funny to be the tournament prize Pokemon. I won't say what it is, but Farfetch would be very funny. Like, guys, you've competed this tournament. Behold, Farfetched. Did you go back and watch Pokemon Horizons? If so, you like it? I don't care for Pokemon Horizons, if I'm being honest. Like, I'll jokingly get angry and shit on it, but I just don't care for it. It's just not what I'm about. I have not gone back and rewatched it, but I keep kind of fairly up with it. My buddy Ionic Bond watches it. Xanolith watches it, so they'll talk about it. So I'll kind of pick stuff up here or there. Not related to anything, but I think Bill would own a Porygon since BC guy. No, that's definitely fitting. What did Brock or Giselle do? Or is that a spoiler? They were off training. They wanted to get some more training in for the tournament. That was also partially Dollywop being like, I don't want to have to put on my timeline 4 characters in a room and have Brock and Giselle insert random pieces of dialogue. They're not needed here, so they cut and run. Oh yeah, Ash is definitely going to retain his snarky attitude. That's going to be a running thing. You're not going to see Ash where he's like this, like, standard, like, blank, like, I'm super nice. It's like, no, Ash is always going to kind of be a dick. You know? He'll learn to be more mature about it, but at his core, he's still a dick. You write things a very way it makes it super hard to dislike most of your choices. The only thing I didn't like in the whole series was the random evolution of Sandshrew, even though then I don't hate that I found it a bit random. It was more of a, I understand that. It was more of a, like, it just felt right, you know? It wasn't really like a hard, like, where it was just like, this is where it should evolve. Funny enough, if Sandshrew didn't evolve here, it was going to be in the tournament. I just thought that in a double battle like that, the best way to get an upper hand, and also because you guys love Giselle. Like, way more than I thought people would love Giselle. The amount of questions I kept getting were, when's Giselle going to catch a Pokemon? When's Giselle going to catch a Pokemon? Is she going to do this? You guys love Giselle. And I appreciate that. She was a risky choice early on. That was a, like, we're really going to try. I might shoot my series in the foot right now if I put Giselle in rather than Misty. But I wanted to kind of reward her for her hard work. Because, like, the way I kind of picture it is, you guys ever play a Pokemon game and you only use your starter up until, like, the 5th gym and it's over-leveled as shit? It's kind of what Giselle's been doing. She's just been power leveling Sandshrew and Sandshrew only. So it kind of felt like it was right to evolve now. Also a reward of her hard work. Kind of shows Sandshrew get over that water fear a bit. Yeah. Too hard to be pissed off when the writing's good? Thank you. I appreciate it. I try and do my best. The shorter episodes, by the way, for the people that are, like, a little iffy on them or unsatisfied, they will get better, if that makes any sense. Because these last 3 short episodes have been a long episode I've split up. I wasn't writing them with the intention they're being short. Now, I always kind of write these episodes with the intention of being short, with something happening in each part of the main episode. But I would be under a different mentality knowing I'm writing a shorter episode. So they will definitely be more packed with cool stuff in them. Either no one is mad at you or you have the best mad viewers who don't want to ruin the vibes for everyone else. Yeah, which is funny because these streams, man, I do everything in my power to piss people off with my words. Still, the best quote I ever got was, your series is so good, we put up with your bullshit attitude. Or your bullshit opinions. And also, it's never wrong for you guys to question my decisions, because ultimately I am trying to do my own thing that's cool, but I also trying to appeal to the viewers. So, like, I'm never trying to write anything that, like, intentionally pisses you guys off. It's always kind of more of that initial flash of anger. So if there's ever a decision you guys don't like in my series or seems weird or random, I'll always have a reason for it, and even if it feels weird now, it will evolve into something better. You know, it's always destined for something good writing wise, not like if someone was mad that Beedrill was getting a lot of spotlight early on in the series, is because I knew I was building to Bye Bye Beedrill. And I feel like because I did all that back work where I emphasized the bond between Beedrill and Ash and had them be used a lot, it hit you guys a lot harder when he left. Have you read the Adventures manga? Yes, I have. My favorite Dex holders are Ruby and Diamond. Or Dia. as people call them. Hope you make another episode. Oh, guaranteed. Did you play Loco ZA? Yeah, I did. I loved it. Can you tell us what the prize Pokemon is? No. Will Ash beat Serena? Yeah. Oh, you meant the gym leaders. Okay. Probably the one that respects him the most. In a weird way, I think it's Lieutenant Surge. I think Lieutenant Surge has a respect for Ash because he, rather than take the easy route of evolving Pikachu, he decided to, like, come up with a strategy to do that. He really played into Surge's strategies. In my mind, random black hair dude, I thought you meant because, like, Brock clearly would have the most respect for Ash rather than just gym leaders. That was going to be the original end of Pokemon. Wait, what? I've learned a fun fact. Okay. That's okay. Well, I'm glad that's not your original ideas, Will Peters, because what the fuck is that? Could we see Ash become somewhat famous in later regions to having competed in other leagues prior? For example, Sentinel don't know of Ash. Maybe. It's kind of hard to say because it depends on really if Ash wins. Dude, Will Peters, don't worry. Thanks for the $5. You don't have to donate to answer those things. I saw your comment. Thank you so much for the now $25. That helps a broke man like myself. The famous thing will depend because, like, when you think about in the grand scheme of things for the anime, Ash shouldn't be famous in later regions, if only because, like, he never wins any of them. Like, you're kind of more famous if you win a region. Like, the only time I could see him being famous if he got, like, to second place in, like, his first league ever. Then people would be like, that guy, what the fuck? You got that high? People would know of him. But we'll see. It really depends on what Ash does and how his journeys go. Yeah, I'm a fan of the Ink Tank. Love 5YL. Oh my god. I've debated that. I gotta look into that. I saw the video. I have not watched it, but I've debated putting in one of my something for Alien X vs Divinity. I watched Horizons after the first weeks. Yeah, I'm not a fan of it. Ash hating everyone except for his pet rat is comedically entertaining. Yeah, no, it's fun. Why is Koga hosting a tournament? Because, well, it's a little bit of a tradition thing. Out of universe, it's because I wanted to do a tournament, and this felt like the best place to insert it because I wanted to get a bunch of characters that don't usually interact with each other. Wanted a nice test for Ash, all that. But I'm there. It's not going to be like your usual tournaments, is what I'll say. It's going to be Koga-fied, if that's a word. No, it's not. I made it up right now. But it's gonna be different. So expect not just some standard tournament stuff. When will Ash catch his next Pokemon? Soon enough. We will, and that's not even a spoiler. It's just because I've talked about this before, where I really want to make sure that Ash, not that he catches all his Pokemon quickly, but I want you to have enough episodes with this new 6th Pokemon that you guys actually bond with it, and it doesn't feel like tacked on at the end. It's just, I know when it's going to get caught and where it's going to get caught, and we're just simply haven't gotten there yet. It just makes sense specifically for that area. But it will surprise you guys. No one's going to predict it. Dolly selecting Ash's character trait for the series, sarcastic asshole. Yeah, basically. I see your point, but I think it should have just learned Sandstorm or something involved, and then evolved Turn. But this is my series, so not really. Yeah, exactly. Agree to disagree. It's kind of one of those things where, like, it wouldn't be a good series if you guys didn't have some points you disagreed on. So I respect the hell out of it, Breakfast Man. Like, I'd rather, I appreciate some, discouraging my ideas, because sometimes I might go a little too far with some stuff. Sometimes it'd be like, it might not be my brightest. Like, you could see me giving, like, I retconned Giselle's Vaporeon because I was just like, it was going to have the same character arc as Sandshrew, and then I had to repeat it twice. But you could see that as like a bad retcon almost. Like, why? Oh, she should have kept Vaporeon, then she could have 2 Pokemon. I try to find a shiny Pokemon in the Pokemon Alpha Sphere. Nice. I noticed a lot of people tend to give Giselle a lot more relevance when being asked to write the OG series. That benefits being a cute anime girl. Partially that, Inferno Fire style. I think it's just really because she's one of 2 recognizable Kanto one-off characters. Like, you won't realize how little they are until you try and write this series. Like, the others being AJ. But, like, how many of them can you really note of in your head that is like of an actual character that's important. Like if you go back, I've said this before when Giselle was introduced, but if you it's be a pain in the ass to do it now. But before I even wrote the first episode, I posted a pic of Giselle and asked, "Do you know who this is?" to my community, and everyone, like 90% said yes. And it's like when you're writing a series like this, you don't really want to write too many OCs if you're trying to keep the spirit of the thing alive. You kind of want to use characters in the world that people know of for like one, brand recognition. Like Giselle's not popular enough that I thought it would hurt to put her in the thumbnail because she was the focus of the last episode. I managed to kind of like eke my way into a way where I put Ash in there too, and I made it a little ambiguous where like I have to put Ash in thumbnails. Like it's just how I get views. Or it's how people get views in general. It's not something I'm like, I'm trying to shoehorn it in and trick you guys. It's like, this is how I get people outside of my community to come into it. Where is it going with this? But yeah, there's not really that many. It's really AJ and Giselle. There's not that many like recognizable one-off characters that people remember, and you're more likely to find those two. Like, it's really those two in general. Like, not too many. Like, there might be a slight recurring character like Nikolai in Hoenn, the guy who wore shorts all the time and loved him. I'm slurring my words, so I'm not going to try and pronounce his full title. That's not going to end well for me right now. Whatchamacallit? Yeah, but it's so like when you're choosing characters for your series, you kind of got to be a little just like you kind of got to be a little there's a bit of a marketing way of you got to think about it. Like, it's cool to write your own original series and have all your cool original characters, but if you want to draw people in, you kind of have some brand recognition in there. This show is so impressive at this point that I just say this as an indie show, not a remake show's game is ingrained in my mind that we think Pokemon. I think of this. Thank you so much, Breakfast Fan. Appreciate it. I've actually never really had a big experience on the internet, even with someone like you. Oh, you're one of the lucky ones. Congrats. I will try harder. No, I'm kidding. ATR Ash definitely sounds more like Veronica Taylor. I can't imagine it with Sarah's voice. When the tournament starts, will we know what the prize Pokemon is? Like at the opening ceremony, will they show off the Pokemon, or will we find out when someone wins? We'll see. We'll see whenever revealed. I won't say what it is, but it is a Gen 1 Pokemon. So it won't be a Gen 2. Which Paldea star do you think fits Ash the most? Oh, they're also trash. Probably Crocolore. Wait, is Crocolore the second evolution? Yeah, it is. I meant Fuecoco. That's what I'm thinking of. Yeah, probably Fuecoco. This tournament is a tuning exam. Basically, just wait for Orochimaru to pop in. If Brock and Bakoga have recognized him, yeah, they know each other. They're probably not close, but like they know of each other at least. They've met before. Can you explain in more depth the difference between Ash and Green battle style and adaptability? Okay, actually, great. That's a great thing to talk about. Green is very smart and adaptive on the battlefield. She tends to focus on raw power a lot. And like you see her test the waters with the crab hammer, with the guillotine. Like, okay, slicing it's not doing anything. Brute forcing like that is doing anything. I bet if I freeze it, it will actually, like, because it's so sludgy and soft, if I freeze and harden it, that will do damage. She can think of stuff like on that. And at the end of the day, her strategy is still brute force. Kingler, throw it against the wall, smash it. You know, that's her brain. Even with Electabuzz and Venomoth, her strategy wasn't, I should paralyze Venomoth so I can ding. She didn't think of spreading the Thunderbolt and Thunderwave out and stuff. She was just like, precise attacks are working, I gotta get close to it. So that's how she used Teleport, to get on and just blast it with electricity. So it's still all based in power. Doesn't, just because you're a power fighter doesn't mean you don't have intelligence to you. But like, she needs to test the waters more first. Like she like doesn't plan things in advance. She plans things as they go out. Ash, like, doesn't think like that on the spot. Like, he can come up with some stuff, but it's usually stuff he's seen before. He saw Green's Electabuzz use Thunder Wave, so he thought, Pikachu, can you do that? He didn't know Pikachu could do that. He didn't know Pikachu learned Thunder Wave. He was just like, can you try paralyzing electricity? Just spread it around the room so it hits everything, you know? Like, it's not really, like, the most succinct strategy and the most well-thought-out plan. Like, with Cubone, she's the one who thought of, like, Ash was just like, could you use your thing like a propeller? And I was like, okay, that worked. Like, that was kind of him thinking outside the box. He's more of an outside-the-box thinker, while Green is a more closer to, like, a, you know, she's able to, like, solve the equation. Ash, like, would use a different formula. But, like, you also notice when Weezing got smashed into the ground, Cubone's the one who thought of throwing her bone differently, not Ash. So Ash still isn't really there yet. He's not really thinking high-level strategy. Like, Green is also smart enough to teach her Pokemon moves like Ice Beam, like Teleport, to help them, because she knows her Pokemon's strength and weaknesses. Ash is like, whatever you know, you know. You know, he's not teaching his Pokemon moves. He wouldn't he wouldn't think, I should teach Cubone Ice Beam, you know? He'd be like, Cubone knows these moves. And if she gets new ones, great! But, like, Ash is still reliant on his Pokemon kind of figuring it out on their own by knowing their own strengths and weaknesses. He can play on their weirdness, like, more when they, like, it gets revealed to them, and when he but, like, Ash requires a lot of hindsight. He requires a lot of, like, I know what they can do, rather than, let's think outside the box. You know? Like, he knows Cubone's bone spins. He's like, can you do that in your hands? And, like, I know that would create wind. I know basic, you know, science like that, you know? So, like, Ash is still behind the curve. Green is just more like, I guess the way I'll put it is that, you know, I think I've described enough. You'll see a bigger difference once Gary gets to battle, and we get to see what strategies he imposes, what strategies he does, and how he fights. The differences between him, Green, and Ash will become much more clear. Will AJ and Richie show up in the tournament? We'll see. Did she use an Ariados or Spinner? Yeah, I'll reveal that. Yeah, I already, like, it's kind of like, it's why I hid it behind her, you know, but, like, I don't think it's too much of a spoiler to reveal that. How would Richie do against Ash? We'll see. Maybe he's in the tournament. Who knows? It's kind of hard to say, dude, because Richie's not a prodigy like Green and Gary. Like, Green and Gary are prodigies. Like, let's not get that wrong. Richie's an average trainer. So it's interesting to see how you compare against Ash Ketchum right now versus later on. The main thing I think you should do for new Pokemon, I hope you do, is just ignore the types of the Pokemon he already owns in a way, letting him 2 grass types or so. Oh, of course. I mean, like, I'm not afraid to double up on types. I'm not like I used to have the mentality of there should only be one type of everything, but take Sinnoh for existence. He has Gliscor and he has Torterra. They're both ground types, but they both have secondary types and also fight in completely different ways. So as long as 2 Pokemon fight differently, I don't care if they double up on types. A more general question, and also it keeps you guys guessing on who's going to be on his team, so that's a fun thing. How did Delia interact with Gary and Green when they were kids? Oh, she adores them. She was kind of like a secondary mother figure to them because she's just that motherly, you know? You know, she loves her son's friends. You know, they look up to her. They have great respect for her. Gary is much more respectful around to Ash around Delia. Sometimes it can slip out, but he does have a great deal of respect for that woman. Green loves her. You know, Green loves everyone. Can you imagine the Koga tournament becomes a tuning exam? Yeah, we're just gonna watch Giovanni on a massive Arbok crash in. He's here to kill Lance, the champion Hokage. Yeah, Nikolai, the guy with the mudkip. I'm not pronouncing his full name right now because I'm slightly slurring my words and I might get canceled. Is there any particular reason why you don't put ATR at the start of the video title? Gets less views. I talked with some bigger YouTube creators like Infamous Trainer, like Zach Toshi, like Hybrid Hero. And they basically were telling me about thumbnails and titles, like, great series you got there, but, like, you need to change this stuff up if you want to get more views. And I was like, you got it. So it's like, I still call it ATR. These Q&A streams are still called ATR. You guys know it's the ATR. But if I want to get more general outside viewers, it's why I title the videos clickbaity like I do. It's why I do the thumbnails the way I do. It's why I changed all that stuff up so we can grow and expand this channel, because the bigger this channel is and the more views I'm getting, the more motivation I am gonna have to continue this series. Like, we're doing strong on this series. Like, the latest video, how's it doing right now? Because it got posted nearly 3 hours ago. It's got 1,200 views. It's 1 out of 10 in my, it's like, no. So if you don't know, YouTube has this like top recent videos where it measures your video's growth versus the other videos you posted in the same time frame. And it's doing better than the last video and the video before it. And it's just due to the way I do my thumbnails and the way I do views or the titles. And I'm not saying my series is dependent on views, but it helps motivate me. Like, if I know my series is doing well, it makes me want to continue it more. How long are you going to be streamed for? I'm not going yet, but it will start the next hour because I'm a celebrity. Get me out of here starting, and I'm watching it. I don't know. You know, we'll probably be going for a little bit. We've only been going 50 minutes. As long as the questions keep rolling around, like, I'll generally judge it on my viewership. When I notice us drop beyond what we've been averaging, I'll usually kind of wrap it up there unless, like, something comes up, my dogs get rowdy, you know. Mostly because when we get less viewers, we know we're, like, kind of winding down. Would you consider this a more mature version of the Pokemon anime if this is real? And, like, hypothetically, would the swearing still be in it, or would it be dumb for children? I would consider a more mature version. I mean, like, not in, like, a weird way, but, like, in a way, like, where language is used that realistically people would use. Like, some events will happen that would be way more mature than the Pokemon anime, you know? But it's more treated in a realistic sense than it is a... Like, realistic feels like a weird word to use, but, like, it's more treated in a realistic sense of how the world works and operates in the Pokemon world, rather than, like, I'll give you a great example. Nidorino attacking Giselle when Sandshrew used Dig. And I made sure to emphasize that point. In the anime, that probably wouldn't happen. You know, like something like that where Giselle's like, oh god, this thing's trying to kill me. You know? But like in the anime, you probably want to acknowledge a Pokemon's trying to kill you because for it, it's a fight for survival. For you, you're just like, I'm trying to catch a Pokemon. So in some ways, it is more mature, yes. What Pokemon game think has the best story? Hard to say. They're all pretty, like, okay, you know, for Pokemon stories. Probably, I mean, I think Alola. I think Alola's pretty good story overall. Maybe Gen 5. Like, Gen 5 is just hampered by the fact that, like, it's hard to display the dichotomy of, like, people who are like, you're abusing your Pokemon, you should release them, in a game where you have to, the only way to fight people is through Pokemon battles. Oh yeah, Duplica and Todd are pretty recognizable, but they kind of reoccur a bit more. So that's why, like, they're more reoccurring. They're not on the one-shot Pokemon character list. What Hidden Village do you think Ash would be in? I feel like the easy answer is Konoha, but I could see him in, like, the Cloud Village. I feel like he'd fit in with, like, I feel like him and Killer Bee would get along. Either him and Killer Bee would get along. If they were both, like, the same age, they would either get along famously, or Killer Bee would annoy the shit out of Ash. Does Has-Been Hotel exist in ATR? Well, after that season 2 finale, definitely not. I can't believe Has-Been Hotel season 2 ripped off the way I was going to end the ATR season 1, man. That was totally going to happen. I'm not going to spoil it for people who haven't seen it, but oof. Is there any effort to see every Pokemon at least once by the end? Not really. I think that was a big problem with Journeys, where they wanted to reveal one of every Pokemon. I will use, like, you'll probably see more unusual Pokemon in my series that you won't typically see in the anime. I'm more prone to use stuff we rarely see more than things that are common. What's up, Leo Ember? Mods ban Koga, he's hacking. If you know, he just loves his Pokemon. I don't know why you guys think that loving your Pokemon is hacking, but I don't know. Why did Koga use Crobat? Evolved form of Golbat, which is a Gen 1 Pokemon. I thought Golbat was a little too weak for where Ash was going to fight it. Crobat was a nice shock value to the audience. And it's a Gen 2 Pokemon, which we're getting to, so you'll see me seeding in more Gen 2 Pokemon and Gen 2 representation as we get closer to it. So Ash's Pokemon are prodigies, but not him. Yeah. Like, I mean, Psyduck gets supernaturally powerful with its headaches. Unlike, like, Psyducks normally get powerful headaches that, like, make them stronger. Ash's Psyduck is way more. Ninetales is fucking feral compared to most Ninetales, because she grew up on an area that it was, like, survival of the fittest. Pikachu is clearly a prodigy, like, with the shit he does. Tankle is kind of a prodigy, but he's more of a, closer to a weirdo. Like, he's just so unusual and odd that it's hard to predict his actions, which makes him a weird opponent to fight. And it's sort of hard to fight just this massive vines and tentacles. Like, you know, it's hard to deal with that. Cubone's just tough. She's weird, but she's just determined and tough. She just has that can-do, fuck-you attitude. So in some ways, she is a prodigy, but she's more closer to just her attitude makes her stronger. Ash's strategy set up as random bullshit. Go! Giant soldier of stone, attack the moon. Yeah, Ash is doing that shit. Who taught Ash to swear? Television. There's definitely some, like, old guy around Kanto that just, like, swore, and Ash was like, that's a fun word. And he learned it the same way all 10-year-olds learn to swear, you know? Did having the tournament with a Pokemon as a prize happen in the city next to the Star Zone? Is it, it's intentional. I probably would have still done the same thing if it wasn't, but it is intentional because of Safari Zone. Will Ash go to Mount Silver in Kanto? I don't know about in Kanto, but I know he'll go to it eventually. Can't wait to get for you to give justice to Univash. Yeah, Univash is gonna be fun. Woo! Shout out from the Philippines. What up, Zane? Hell yeah. They call me Mr. Worldwide. I just got fans everywhere, guys. We're Universal. Universal Studios. Will Toshi and his Marowak appear in future episodes? I wouldn't see why not. He's a character I can definitely use. I love Mega Zero Aura. Well, here's the thing. I was okay with it at first. I was like, whatever, you know. But then I looked at it. For the people who hate it, I just want to point this out. It has the same design principle as Lucario. Like, if you put them side by side, it's the same thing, basically. So it's like, if you hate it, maybe take a past look at other Megas that you love. Like, if you love Mega Lucario, kind of consider your hand. It's like, it's just elongated features, you know, more fur, and a color change. You know? I guess you could count Lucario's coat as a bigger difference, where it kind of gets that, like, jacket appearance with its fur. But still, at the base level, they're pretty much the same. So I'm not mad with it. I actually like it. Especially when I saw his Sugimori art style. Look, it's killed by the 3D pose. I do not know why they stopped doing the Sugimori art style. It actually is what makes a Pokemon likable. That 3D shit is not doing it for people. Like, you're not setting Mega Zeraora up for success when it looks like he's deciding whether he has to sit back down on the toilet or get up. What's up, CMA nerd Harris? See you in an hour, breakfast. How many trainers will compete in the tournament? It's going to be a 16-man tournament. Pokemon ATR was written by Vivzipop. Yeah, just be a lot more certain. It's like, what the fuck is up, guys? You fucking pieces of shit. I really swear so much. I have no idea what my age bracket is. Will Giovanni and the Team Rocket get more of a spotlight later? Yeah, I would say so. I don't know about Giovanni, how much I'm going to show of him or spoil that about. But, I mean, you'll see the trio appear. You'll probably see Team Rocket more in JoJo than Kanto. What member of Ash's ATR team so far would be the hardest using game? Beedrill. Beedrill would be the hardest use because it's so weak. Tangela is probably a second runner-up. Because at least Cubone can evolve to Marowak. If you can find a Thick Club, it's good. You know, Golduck's generally good. Same with Ninetales. Like Pikachu, if you wanted to evolve into Raichu. If it's just left to Pikachu, it'll still be a pain in the ass. I've not read Electric Tales of Pikachu. I've seen stuff from it, but like I haven't seen anything that got me interested enough to read it. If Ash had a tail beast, what would it be? If Ash had a tail beast, that's a hard one. I think it would be the Four Tails. I think it fits more of it. I don't know. Four Tails would be more green territory. I think Three Tails would be more... Three Tails or the Six Tails would be more of Gary. I don't think Ash would be a Kurama guy. I don't think he'd be able to do that. I think Shukaku, obviously, off the one tail. I think he and Shukaku would, like, not get along, but I think, like, Ash would vibe with him when they got along, but I could see that. Any Ash get a flying type? I mean, I'm not going to say whether yes or no. It's not a priority for me, I will say. There's no part of me that, like, Ash needs a flying type. For all the situations he needs flying type, I just won't write those, you know? It's just very simple. Oh, Fandom Tarek, you know, if we're talking about Hasbin Hotel in here, we're not speaking well of it. Oh, you sweet, sweet angel. I saw Coca Fraud Ellen. I saw those too. I was like, guys, Ash has to win. Like, it'd be weird if he lost here. I think they put up a pretty good fight. He faced a Prodigy and Unusual Ash. I think Ash did pretty well to get that win. Also, around in this time, the actual line, they were teasing Gen 2 Pokemon, for example, Togepi. Yeah, exactly. Guys, in Frig, you can only get Johto evolutions to Kanto, but if you... Oh, Fire Red, Leaf Green. I read that wrong. If you beat champions. Koga has a Crobat. He is the champion. You found me out, Mr. Cat. Has Gary already battled Koga, or did he get his 6 badge from somewhere else? He already battled Koga. There's only 8 gyms. There's no, like, side gyms you can get badges from. What shows is Delia allowing Ash to watch? Bro, he's 10. If you've been a 10-year-old, you know it's not what your parents allow you to watch. It's what you can get away with watching. What is my favorite Mega Evolution? Ooh, that's a hard one. Mega Blastoise has always been pretty sick. Same with Mega Gengar. Loved the Skarmory. Oh, it's Mega Mawile. Easy. I love Mega Mawile. Mawile's the GOAT. I hate Mega Lucario. It's such a try-hard design compared to the original. Yeah, but that's kind of the point to be. But here's the thing, Axo. They've never tried to display Lucario as a monk. It's always been like, what if we had a Lucario and then it had an attitude problem and then it got chill and then it's just a battle guy, you know? Like, every Lucario is the same in the anime. Brock and Giselle are training right now. Is there any Pokemon Ash didn't get in the anime that you've already ruled out of him getting the ATR? Flygon is one. If you watch my original videos, Flygon is one. You know, Arcanine was one I originally ruled out because I felt like it was a popular choice, but there was the part of me that regretted not using Arcanine over Ninetales. Like, it would have been the same thing across the board between Arcanine and Ninetales. Like, it would have just replaced all of Ninetales scenes with Arcanine, and it would have been that. But that was one I kind of regret not using. Gyarados was immediately ruled out. I didn't want to use a Gyarados. Same with Aerodactyl was one because really the only reason Ash just isn't ready for a Fossilmon, and the only reason people would be like, give him an Aerodactyl is like they either want to recreate the Charizard episodes of like disobedient Pokemon, which I'm already doing differently with Ninetales, and because Red had it in the Adventures manga. And I don't think just because a character has something in the manga or in another form of media, it's necessarily a smart decision to give it to Ash, because it's like, because the mentality just boils down to, ooh, reference. Which Ben 10 alien would be Ash's favorite? He'd be like Ben. Forearms would be the go-to guy. That or like Heat Blast. It'd be like a tie between like the original 10. It would be Heat Blast, Forearms, and Diamond Head. Like those. Maybe Accelerate too, because he's super fast. Probably actually Accelerate because it's closer to like how Pikachu fights. But Forearms is kind of like would be a go-to. For me, Ash has my OC Tail, BC, and Silent Wolf with 11 Tails. Nice. Can't wait for the ATR agenda posting memes. Oh my god, it's gonna go crazy. If I ever get big enough that I get agenda posts, it's gonna be insane. My head, like, I'll know I've made it big on this series when I get like two things, either reaction videos or a wiki, because there's so much content to remember. in my headcanon, it's kind of like essential to have a Pokemon that can fly or transport to get out of sticky situations. Oh yeah, I feel that. I mean, like, depending in my own personal stories, I kind of have someone have a flyer, some kind to get around once, like, in later stages of the story. How would he get a gym badge if the gym burnt down? Yeah, so that originally was just Ash just acknowledging, be like, you know, like, I'm not going to use Ninetales. And then I remembered that they burnt a gym down and got a badge out of it. I was like, I could throw a jab in here. I can throw, like, a fucking right hook. Opinions make a star me. In my opinion, latest sign ever. Column A, column B. I like how I understand what they're going for. I go back and forth on whether I like it. How would you define genius in ATR? And will Ash be one later in Journeys? Ash will never be a genius. You're born a genius. Like, you're just naturally gifted. That's what genius means for me. Green naturally has the instincts in battle. Gary has the brain for it. Ash doesn't, you know? So it's sort of like, no matter how good Ash gets, it's sort of like, say we're in a Alola and Ash is considered one of the best trainers in the world. Not saying that's happening. I'm just saying hypothetically. It's not because he's a genius. He's had like six regions behind him to train and get to this level. So Ash will never be a genius. He will always be a prodigy of hard work. It doesn't mean everyone else doesn't work hard, because a genius can't just rely on being a genius. Early on, that helps a lot, but like, you have to grow and be smart about it. You actually have to train if you want to get to the higher levels. Green and Gary train. That's why they're prodigies, you know? It's the equivalent of like someone who's just born like with like, you know, I'll give a funny example of my own personal life. My brother has to eat a lot to retain weight. He naturally like slims down, which when it comes to weightlifting and working out, he can get strong and like look good really fast. I don't have that. I got to really work hard and eat right if I want to cut down on fat in my body. So that's just kind of like the difference. Oh, don't worry, X. I mean, the stream will be up anyways. Which Yu-Gi-Oh decks will your Ash and Giselle and Brock? Oh, what decks will they get in the Yu-Gi-Oh verse? Ash would probably use something like Heroes or like something like Dinosaurs, like a generic dinosaur deck. Giselle, some kind of Spellcaster deck. Maybe Witchcrafter. I think she would use Witchcrafter. Brock would go for the Fossil deck. Either that or like Adamancipator. Maybe even Magnet Warriors. That might be a little too smart for Ash. That might be more of like a Clement deck. But one of those. You're good at Photoshop. You can do my course for me. Essentially. What's up, Scorpio? More of a general lore question, but why in the world would parent let their kids travel around the country with their pet? So, in my mind, the way the Pokemon world works is 10 years old in the Pokemon world is not 10 years old in our world. Like, one, they've developed the world. It's sort of like, in some ways, despite how they've gotten so sophisticated with technology, it's sort of more traditional and like tribal in a weird way, as a way to put it, of like a rite of passage. It's sort of like, it's like the equivalent of like getting your first car or like getting your driver's license and stuff. It's like most people tend to go on journeys, you know, because not even if you're trying to shoot for champion, it's just a way to grow and experience the world. It's like traveling abroad. So it's sort of like you kind of learn the basics you need to survive out in the world. Like Ash could still survive out in the wild without Brock. It would be kind of a shitty because he's dumb, but like he knows how to make a fire. He knows how to like do some basic cooking stuff or eat rations, you know, like, so it's in Kanto, at least the roads are pretty safe compared to other regions. Like other regions is a lot more rural, so it's kind of like and more underdeveloped. You know, Kanto's managed to keep that natural beauty aesthetic, but like it's a lot like there's clear paths made on the routes. Did I change my mind on only using Gen 1 Pokemon movesets? No. Like you'll see some Gen 2 Pokemon seeded in, but none for Ash. You won't see like Ash get a Gen 2 Pokemon in this team. It will be strictly Gen 1. More of a general lore question. Oh yeah, no, I read that. What is Ash's favorite Pokemon battle with? Pikachu. Pretty easy. Not questioning it, but what was the idea behind the Electabuzz having teleport? Column A, column B. So Electabuzz already knew teleport. If you paid attention in the, not paid attention, but if you notice it in the, it's easy with the editing to kind of get lost in it, but it did teleport above Gyarados. and like literally teleported above Gyarados, to go fight it and shoot the electricity down. So it's still new teleport. This wasn't like the decision to learn it now. It already knew that back then. It was because it's a weird and unique move that I can see Green teaching her Pokemon to get the advantage in situations like with Venomoth. It's the same reason she taught Kingler Ice Beam rather than just keeping it with physical attacks. It was like a ranged ice move that could give it an advantage in battle. Not even like type coverage, just like in that situation where it needs to freeze and smash stuff. I love Ash's team in this series more than the OG series. Appreciate that. That's the goal. That's what I'm trying to do. Also, I mean, it plays into the Ash. Like, I didn't make the decision on that because of the Ash teleporting gag, but it did play into it. Like, it was a factor that I like when I used it, I knew I could play off that joke. Do you think Pokemon should give Gardevoir Black Hole move? I wouldn't mind giving it a signature move like that. Has Ash used Aura in the ATR version? No, he has. Or if you're saying he hasn't, and if he does have Aura, we'll see. I actually have potential to be smart and genius, and showed it before in life, but I'm too lazy to use it. I don't want to always have good grades. Yeah, well, I mean, here's the thing. I think school is not the best method to test someone's genius. Just because someone's intelligent in school doesn't mean they're generally, like, school is not the measure of intelligence, because, like, your intelligence could be shown in different ways. Like, I was shit in school, but I'm very intelligent in creative departments, but I'm not good at math, you know? Stuff, like, school bored the hell out of me. You know, I just could not work myself up. Some of that stuff is discipline. You have to be disciplined. Even in the shit you don't want to do, you got to be disciplined to get it done, especially in school. It's like, you just got to get school done, you know? But I've met so many intelligent people who never went to college, and they didn't need college to be smart. They were smart because they work for it, and they're intelligent in general, you know? But, like, so school is not the measure of intelligence, is what I'll say. Or, like, whether someone's a genius or not. You know, because there's different types of intelligence and smartness. So is Ash Rock Lee and Green and Gary or Neji? Ash is like Naruto. Ash is less Rock Lee. I mean, in the future, it will be like that. But Ash right now is Konohamaru, and they are Neji and Gaara. You never watched the anime Sensei? I have not. The closest I know for like early tournament arcs is Hunter x Hunter. What would Ash look like if he was in hell from Hazbin Hotel? Like a dork? I don't know. Probably like a traditional demon. I've read in fanfics how people get their trainer license and do stuff like immediately get married as a form of identification that you can technically as an adult. Probably wouldn't treat it like that. It's less you get recognized as an adult because badges do help dictate what you have access to because they show experience and maturity. Because gym leaders aren't just... They're there to test you. Like, it's there to, like, show you're ready for the advanced level. Like, Sabrina didn't give Ash a proper gym battle, so to speak, because she wasn't ready for one. Because even if he did win, he wouldn't, like, he's not... Well, he wouldn't win regardless, but he's not ready, you know? So she was trying to teach him, which is why she did the thing she did. Will Ash catch all the Pokemon before Kanto, before Gym 8? 100%. I want you guys to be able to bond with the 6 Pokemon and get used to it. Like, because I don't want to, like, I don't like the inclusion, like, because Pokemon like Glalie and stuff, for example, or, like, just don't get enough time to shine. Like, we like them, but it's like, they really don't, like, they're caught so late that it's really hard to bond with them. Ash will get his next Pokemon relatively soon. Ash gonna date Giselle? No. You hate math? I do. If Ash had to deal with a physical challenge on his own, how well would we do? Decently well. Ash isn't actually physically strong. Like, he gets stronger through traveling by naturally traveling through a region. Most trainers get pretty physically adept, you know, above average. But right now, he's pretty average. Like, he'd probably do decently well, but he wouldn't do that. Have you noticed that Eevee in the original 3 evolutions all have mains, but every evolution after doesn't? I did not. That's interesting. I like that. Ash is still overall a good person, despite being a sarcastic jerk. I can't speak today. Despite being a sarcastic jerk, Ash is overall a good person. He's still kind of a dick. Like, but like, with the Beedrill Snorlax episode, great example. If Ash sees injustice going on, he will deal with it. But he's not the type of guy to go looking for trouble. You know? Add your good Inteleon, Master David. But yeah, so like Ash isn't a hero. He is not the guy who's like, I will sacrifice myself to save the day. But if like someone's getting robbed right in front of him, he's a good person. He'll be like, I should go stop that or interfere or try and help, you know? How would Green or Ash have handled Koga if Koga didn't split his team to give each a gym battle? Would they have lost? No, I don't think they would have lost. Because if Ash had a 4v4 situation, Tangela's unorthodox methods and cut would have helped him a lot. Like, Tangela probably would have faced Wheezing and been able to wrap it up and smash it around the room. Or paralyze it with Stun Spore. Golduck would have carried a lot in that gym battle with its confusion and psychic powers. You already have the 4th Palatown trainer. Like, the 4th trainer who got the Pokemon was Richie. That's why he has Charmeleon. Yeah. I gotta pee like a motherfucker right now. What are we doing? We're still staying strong. We're still going. I'm gonna pee real fast. I just gotta pee badly. Sorry. There we go. If Ash gets Suedos, how long will it take to evolve, or how would he do with training them? Depends on the Suedo. It's hard to say. I don't think he would get a Suedo. If he did get one, it wouldn't be until later in his journeys, like a few regions in. He's just not ready for them. But, like, he would probably be at that point, I don't have a drink anymore. There's still Coke left. He would probably be more experienced enough as a trainer to actually train it like a normal person. He would not do well with, like, a Dratini right now or something. You really need to change your name back to Splatterspark. I don't know. Honestly, I read that and I was going to say something and then just left me. I don't know if someone asked this already, but as we progress through the story regions, will Ash's team consist of only Pokemon from that region? Yeah, they're always gonna be Pokemon from that region, because I want to show off, like the anime did, the Pokemon of that region. So you're not gonna see like a Gen 2 Pokemon in Ash's Gen 1 team. Dollar up calling him so smart and Cat should not be real. Hey, Mr. Cat, shut up. Some of y'all can't type in here, is all I'm saying. It's not that I can't read. I have to decipher hieroglyphics. And I can tell if you just... Yeah. So. Will you make an Elfin lead references in the future? I've never seen that series, so probably not. No, you're good. I didn't really make it very apparent, Patrick. Like, I didn't, like, announce it. So it's very easy to miss. It's more context clues of, like, well, he has a Charmeleon. But it's also, like... You guys don't know any rules where like, oh, only the 3 people who went to Professor Oak that morning have starters or something. Not that there is a rule like that, but like, you know, it's easy to miss, so don't blame yourself. At what point would Ash get annoyed of evil teams doing their evil shit when he arrives in a region? Gen 5 and 6, probably at that point. How will Brock and Giselle get in the league? They're not. Brock is a former gym leader. He's not competing for badges, and Giselle isn't participating in the league. Ash is. The sound clips for Thrash and Self-Destruct sequence was hilarious, especially the what the fuck boom. That surprised me. Yeah, I like to throw little references. Like, you guys saw the Squid Games meme faintly pop in, you know? Like, if you watch back on my early series, I did a lot of goofy stuff. I haven't done as many lately, but I still like to throw them in because they're funny. Every time Dolly swears, take a shot every time I swear. You'll be... I don't need you guys going to the ER for alcohol poisoning. No, maybe I'll do a drinking stream at one point, you know, but it would have to be late in the night because I go to the gym, so I need to be able to drive. How long will the tournament episode be? Who knows? I haven't written it yet. I'm still planning it out. I gotta get this. What I'm gonna be doing this week is planning the tournament, writing the episode, and hopefully recording it. But like I said, I'm moving. I got family in town for Thanksgiving, so this is kind of my break week to really plan this episode out to the fullest. So, you know, it might be a month before the next episode. You know, we'll still have streams and all. Maybe not this week or this coming week because Thanksgiving. But, you know, like, it depends on how long it takes me and how much I can grind it. Like, I also have a job. So, and the job, when I'm busy or not, fluctuates a lot. You know? Could we potentially see Brock more or less teach Ash how to teach his Pokemon moves? You won't see that until, like, Gen 3, like where they introduced Ash actually teaching moves, probably. Like Gen 1 and 2 are Ash getting the basics of training under his belt, and Gen 3 is where he really starts to flourish. So you probably won't see that till Hoenn. Like there might be an odd episode where Ash teaches one of his Pokemon a move, like he sees someone doing it, like he did in Hoenn, where he saw Bullet Seed, he saw Ice Beam or something, or he saw Aerial Ace, and he was like, that's cool, can my Pokemon learn that move? So I'm not saying that won't happen in Gen 2. But you're more likely to see it in Gen 3 than there. I could take shots if my country started drinking it too. I don't know. You know, Ireland? I can say that. I'm Irish. Like, I'm like American Irish, not like actually Irish. Dolly mentioned that Ash improving as a trainer. Yeah, basically. Gonna continue. And I was like, yeah, we will. We'll do that next stream. I do. Like, the only reason we're not doing it today is because Q&A. Let's also do a little episode check. See how the episode's doing. Because I haven't checked it in 40 minutes. Ooh, Siri Expo did more of the Nuzlocke. 1,400. Guys, thank you so much for viewing on this. I want you guys to know, actually, we're going to get real for a moment. From the bottom of my heart, I know I'm a snarky asshole. I know I shit on Charizard and Kalos constantly. But if you guys weren't watching this, I wouldn't be making it. So shout out to all of you for actually taking the time of your day to watch my fanfic of Ash's journey. You know, you guys are the guys, you guys are the people that, like, keep me motivated to doing this, you know? So, hats off to you. Clap and a half. As they do on the game theories. Speaking of Ash's final team member, is Ash's final Kanto team member going to be the prize Pokemon tournament coming up soon? I won't say either or, but it will be relatively soon. For a pseudo-legendary, honestly, I think it would be a neat idea to give him a Dratini in Kanto to evolve into Dragonair and Johto, then Dragonite and Hoenn as a sign of his growth. Hey, you know, that would be a fun idea, but I would generally stick to, I wouldn't do a Dragonair and, if Ash, say Ash did catch a Dratini and, well, I can't do it anyways because my rules of Ash can't do anything he caught before. Fuck you, Journeys, for giving him a goddamn Dragonite and cutting me off. Wait, what's the J word? Wait, what word did I say? Nah, every Balkan country. That's it. Yeah, so, it's been a while since I've said it, but yeah, I can't use anything Ash caught before. So no Dragonite, unfortunately. But the, whatchamacallit? But yeah, like, I would generally try and not, I probably wouldn't do, like, by the way, that is a good way to do that. I will say, that is a great way to do that. I wouldn't do that just because I want to show off that generation's Pokemon. Will Jay be in the Indigo League tournament? Yeah, he will. That's not a spoiler. Like, I wouldn't set him up and not use him in the league. I had canon that when Coco mentioned Johto, Ash think, wait, is that the region with the burgers or the one with the baguettes? That's a fun way of going about it. Since you want to showcase what the region offers when we get there, would that be, say, a higher emphasis on double battles in Hoenn or triple rotation battles in Unova? Probably not triple rotation battles in Unova just because I don't care for them. But yeah, you'd see more double battles in Hoenn, definitely. I did know Gardevoir can learn Thunderbolt in the games. Oh yeah, job. That's the word. Hey, I'm the guy from the Balkan. What do you need? I think gym leaders could use filler slots for the league if 120 get 8 badges, think Holy Senator, Sabrina, Koga to make an even bracket. Possibly. That's a fun idea. What do you think holidays are celebrated like in the Pokemon world? Jenny, is fit the same IRL or something a lot more interesting? A little bit more interesting. I mean, I think they have Christmas. They probably don't call it Christmas. Probably do like some D&D type deal and be like Winter's Eve or something, or Winter's Crest. But like they definitely have a Christmas. I don't know about the other holidays. Like, I probably wouldn't tap into too many holidays because I don't want people to get on my case for misrepresenting. Because I wouldn't just do American holidays. I'd try and like spread it out. Like you might be like, I mean, there's possibilities of like maybe there's a city or a town that has something more resembling like, I want to say the Spanish name, Day of the Dead, Dia de Muertos. God, I am so white. I used to be able to say that word. I can't. But you might have something to that, but I feel like I run the risk a little too bit, like people, like someone to get on my case about that, which I don't care about. If you guys ever saw like Dollywop canceled, you'd see a video of me, of my apology video going like, I apologize for not giving a fuck, you know, because I don't really care. But you know, just better to err on the side of caution. Am I doing a Johto series after Kanto? Of course, 100%. I don't get the Dragonite hype. If it's release date, no one would care about it. You know, you never know. In your hand cannon, who solves the problems? Your version of Ash didn't do the, your version of Ash didn't do his different path. Is like a G-Man staying busy, or does train like AJ or Sage? Charmander's dead, unfortunately. Ash didn't get him, so Charmander's dead. Bulbasaur is still running that secret village, and he will evolve into a lovely Venusaur and protect it to the day he dies, where they will create a nice memorial for him. And Squirtle becomes an underground kingpin. So maybe some things have, like maybe Ash has encountered similar situations that he had done in the anime and solved those problems, but some of them just go unsolved. It'd be funny if Gary and Green faced off against each other and knocked each other out of the tournament. That would be funny. Hey, Splatterspark's bat. Splatterspark. Splatterspark, just be careful not to add a third K. If you change your name again and you have to add a third K, it's all over. And is Lieutenant Surge canonically from Unova? I actually, the way I actually wrote it in my own head is he's actually from Alola, which is why they had that Lieutenant. I don't know. There's probably an in-game explanation of why, but it's why there's the Lieutenant Surge inspired gym in Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon. So he's actually from Alola. Like he had a Pikachu there, and when he left it for Kanto, it evolved into a Kantonian Pikachu rather than a Alolan. You know, I've never thought about that, Demi. But Guts is a great way of explaining that. That's a great way. I've never thought. I've been like, it just doesn't make sense. Dias de los Muertos. Thank you. Appreciate Megazord. Hispanics got my back. Charmander ended up in a Hazard Hotel. I'm not that mean. Actually, CMA Nerd took it. You know what, Harris? You actually came and saved Charmander. It is now on your team in this world. I'll give Charmander that. So I will say, I go back and forth on Larvitar. So, like, the way I run it, X, is that, like, every Pokemon in that flashback sequence, well, sort of like, he caught a Beedrill, yes. But, like, he didn't catch a Beedrill. Like, it was for a thing he handed off. Like, we don't know Beedrill's personality. We don't know its, like, characteristics. Ash never used it in a battle. It was just for a tournament. It's the same thing sort of like in the, when they did the Legends Arceus episodes. If Ash didn't have, like, a Rowlet and he caught a Rowlet in there, I wouldn't rule Rowlet off the table just because he caught it for, like, a one-off thing like that. Larvitar I go back and forth on because it bonded a lot with Ash. It was in the tournament, or it was not the tournament. It was in the flashback episode. that will come down to whether I think Ash should use a Larvitar in Johto. But it's not, I won't say whether it's on the table or off the table because he technically didn't catch it. So that's a hard one. So that, like, Larvitar exists in this, like, purgatory where I'm not sure yet. But, like, you'll know my decision. You'll know my decision basically when we get to Johto if he gets one or not. Have you already decided who will win the tournament? Yep, I already know who wins. I just have to decide the path to get there. Why did I pick Poliwhirl as my profile? Well, because it used to be a little slime guy. So I thought I debated through a lot of water-type Pokemon. I put some polls up, and Poliwag actually won the polls. But I thought Poliwhirl, like, fit with his hands because I originally was going to do a bunch of, like, if you look at my old videos, I have the slime guy in different poses. I was going to do the thing in Poliwhirl, but I just don't have end cards anymore, just because I don't really need, like, and that's the video, guys, blah, 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 you know, because I do the Q&A streams immediately after, so you get all that information afterwards of, like, when the next video is, all that stuff. So I just like to keep the episodes concise like that. And it just, like, Poliwag 1, I was like, what if I just evolved into Poliwhirl and stuff? And then I could have arms for, like, you know, because I was going to put the box on his head, so then it, you know, it just kind of turned out like that. And I made it shiny for fun, because it was also closer to my original Dollywop colors. Are we going to see Damien, though, or was he written out? I haven't written him out, but I don't have plans for him right now. So if he might appear. I'm not going to say no. Be sent to Has Been Hotel by me. No! Use Larvitar in the beta journey team. True, I did use Sparksy. Splatter, you're funny. Yeah, you change your name. I, like, again, yeah, it's a nebulous zone. Like, so I would say lean more to I have the ability to use Larvitar than I don't. I just don't know if I'm going to use it in the team is all. Maybe Ash would have a Mewtwo. It would not like him at first because he's dumb. I don't generally want to give legendary Pokemon because I think Mewtwo just outscales so many in a different power threshold. Like, certain legendary Pokemon or mythicals are on the table to be caught, but that's just because they're just, like, not strong enough to really be... They're not like a Dialga or a Palkia, or even, like, the legendary birds. Like, they're just too strong in my verse for Ash or any trainer to use. Like, we'll see. I'll dip a lot more into legendary Pokemon and how they work in my verse. If you watch my legendary lore, that's a great insight to how I'm probably going to treat the lore. At least I think those will be pretty factual to what my verse is. But Mewtwo just outscales at every other Pokemon, so it'd just be unfair to him to have. I changed the last letter to a Z as some sort of lightning bolt shape. Nice. I'm not asking for it in Johto. I just thought you're probably... No, don't worry, X. You're good. Let me tell you, great questions to ask. You know, just great things to... Because, like, the more questions you guys ask me, the more you guys know, and the more crazy stuff I can do. I think Gary's favorite anime is Death Note, something along those lines, kind of one of more like an erased type deal. I'm thinking older anime, not like modern ones right now. Green's like a solo leveling type of girl. Like, she would love solo leveling, like just straight power fantasy shows. She loves those. I could see Ash as a One Piece fan, honestly. I might be biased, but I think he's a One Piece fan. He would love Gacha Kuta, the show that's airing right now. Ash saved a Charmander's life and in return that Charmander sets it on fire multiple times. It grows up. Exactly, Mr. Cat. Why do people like Charizard? He's a dick. Do you have any idea what the gang might catch in this fire zone? If they go there and they do catch something, I already know what they would catch. How long will the Pokemon League be? I don't know. Maybe like 5 short episodes, 2 to 3 longer episodes. I would put the finale battle as... And the finale battle, depending on how long it goes, would be combined with the epilogue battle that would lead us into Orange Island. Or the epilogue part, not battle. That would lead us to Orange Islands. Do you headcanon Ash uses the same Tauros every time you use it, or is it a different one? I think it's the same one. That would suck, Phantom Tarek. Since Ash is not going to catch a single Pokemon used in canon, I vote for Mega Chestnut over Ash Chestnut. I mean, I would 100%. I would not use any Ash Pokemon ever. If I use when I get to Kalos, I have so many Megas available to me now. Because I'm using Megas that got released in ZA if I want to. Like, I'm not restricting to Gen 6, because there's no reason to not use those Megas. Give Victini or Mello besides TV tropes made it field day of him not getting them. Maybe. Victini has kind of a power of instant win. Meloetta is a more on the table, but depends on what I do with the lore with them. What big 3 villain would be the Kanto Trio's favorite? I mean, Gary likes Aizen. I mean, he'll always go for the smart guy. Green, I could say Madara. Madara would probably be her favorite. Ash would be a big fan of Kaido. He's not like the final villain, obviously, in One Piece. That's like Blackbeard, probably. But I don't think Ash would like Blackbeard, so I would try to separate them out by anime. But he would like Kaido. Ash would love nothing more to become the next Spinjutsu master. Have you guys seen those TikToks where the guy just like randomly says like, I'm trying to become a Spinjutsu master, and then plays a song? I love those. I'm a big Charmeleon fan. As much as I hate on Charizard and Charmander, I do like Charmeleon. Like if Ash did have a Charmander in this verse, it would stay at Charmeleon. What if there's a trainer that was like playing a Nuzlocke run, but everyone is playing normal, so everyone sees him as an asshole? They would definitely be an asshole. They would, because like their Pokemon wouldn't be dying. They'd be like, oh, it's fainted, better release it, and they just release a hurt Pokemon in the wild. They would just be fucking up the ecosystem. Sorry, every time you see me making weird faces, I'm adjusting the nicotine in my mouth. Video is doing fantastically. Thank you so much, guys. I was worried for a minute. It was like 3 out of 10, and I was like, okay, I'll do decent. Well, now it's 1 out of 10. I'm like, yes. So when it comes to Ash in the future, I don't think Ash will ever change too much as a person. Maybe depending on the character arc. I'm not going to spoil any of that because I already have his character arc planned. But I think I think Ash will always at his core be the guy who catches Pokemon that vibes with him. I don't think he ever goes out of his way to specifically catch Pokemon to diversify types, but he will, like, he will have type knowledge. Like, he's not going to face a Gengar in Sinnoh and be like, use Quick Attack and stuff, unless he'd be like, use Quick Attack to get in close and then hit it with a Thunder Punch, you know? Like, that's the kind of strategy you would be employing in Sinnoh for future Ash arcs. I think I like Charmeleon more because we just don't see it as much, so it's not as much in my face. Because probably part of my Charizard Charmander hate definitely is oversaturation of the market because it's so shoved in our faces, and it feels like it takes spots of other Pokemon that deserve to be there, like being Leon's ace, you know? So like Charmeleon is probably just less represented, which is why I don't hate it. Oh, interesting, Misoji. Huh. What's a skill our trio is good at that you really think they wouldn't have? Oh, so Ash, incredibly financially smart. Just really good with money. I don't think Brock has any, like, secret skills that, like, aren't revealed. Because, like, there's no real, like, secret... Like, his skills are pretty on full display. Giselle... I don't think she has any secret skills either. I think it's really just Ash. Like, anything... Like, there's no skill the other two can have. Like, if we're speaking, like, from a story... Or, like, from a perspective... Like, Brock being a guy and having all these, like, caretaker skills because of growing up with, like, taking care of his siblings are the unusual skills you wouldn't expect. But, I mean, they make sense, especially for Brock, because of what he is and who he's about. But, like, if he was just a dude and you found out he knew how to, like, knit or something, or cook, you'd be like, oh, I didn't expect you to be able to do that, you know? Giselle's pretty standard. So, I mean, Megazord, that's part of my mentality with stuff. Like, I would love to give Ash a Gardevoir. Like, if I get to Hoenn, Gardevoir is not off the table because I like giving unusual Pokemon. I love giving Pokemon that shock you because I get to write them in ways that make you like them. Glaive will be present in Sinnoh. Oh, if you mean on Ash's team, I'm not going to say either or. But, I mean, Glades are obviously in Sinnoh. If I did want to go with the Glade storyline I did in Journeys, I would definitely use it in Sinnoh, though. Um, yeah, Marshadow or Zero Aura could be cool for Ash and Alola. Will Brock land a girlfriend in the series, even if it's off screen? Yeah, I will. I'm gonna give Brock a girlfriend off screen. He will. Brock will get a wife. Man deserves it. He works hard. He's also less of kind of a love-struck fool in my series. Like, at first I was just writing it like they're off screen and we don't see them, but honestly it just became kind of more of his character that he just doesn't do that, you know? It just didn't really fit with the verse, so he just doesn't do that in my series, I think, at this point, just because it just never comes up. Like, so, you know, I think Brock can easily land a girlfriend. I don't think Ash would have I don't know what Dex Holder title Ash would have, because I think Gary would still have Blues and the Trainer. And Green's more of the battler than Ash is. Brock, next time you see Brock, once he's out of the series, he will definitely have a fiance or a wife. I want my man to be happy. We will explain why Tangela followed Ash. There will be an episode on that. Yeah, I mean, Mewtwo could definitely work as a character like that. Not say it would happen. I see that. He's just kind of the guy right now, you know? I think he would, if he got a title, it would be an Alola. Like, that's where, because Alola's Ash's final version. That's where it's like all the struggle and strife and stuff and all his talents culminate in like who he is, like, as a general person for the rest of his life will be an Alola. Like, it's like if we go from Alola and cut 20 years down the line to an adult Ash, like, of like an older Ash like that, because I mean he'll be close to adulthood, or at least at adulthood at that level, like at 18 probably. Whatchamacallit? Wizard fingers. Is that like who Ash is in Alola will be who he is kind of generally for the rest of his life. Like, he'll still learn stuff as he gets older, as people do. You're not who you are at the current stage in your life. You are not who you will be for the rest of your life. That's just unfound of. Yeah, people continually grow and change. I'm not the same guy I was 2 to 3 years ago, much less that, you know? I used to be a way nicer person. A possible issue because some of the Pokemon Ash had a split evolutions. So I think I would, like, I don't know. I got to think on that, because I considered a rule where, like, Ash got a Totodile, but he never got a Feraligatr, so I could have him catch a Croconaw and evolve to Feraligatr. I think I would generally cut off the entire evolution line, unless it was a split evolution where it was very different. Like, Gallade and Gardevoir fight differently. So if Ash, say, got a Gallade, I would rule out Gardevoir. If I were to make an exception, the plot armor Dex Holder. Yeah, that's great. You know, actually, it would be the lucky Dex Holder. He would be the lucky, because Ash gets through on so much luck. Let me look up Ash Pokemon. Oh, yeah, of course, Splatter. Like, I mean, I have plans for Galar, for Ash to, like, experience some Galar, but, like, the final part of Ash's traveling journey like that is, where it's like a classic journey like I'm doing right now, is Alola. I think the exception I would have made for Ash's team would be, there's a few. Tauros, Snorlax, Donphan, Glalie, Corphish, Gliscor, Scraggy, and Noivern. I think those would have been my exceptions. Ash has the power of his and anime on side. Yeah, exactly. Well, my dogs are starting to get rowdy. It's close to feeding them. So I think we're going to wrap up here. We have not dropped in viewership. There's not been a part where he's, where like we've dropped enough in viewership where I'm like, we're wrapping up nicely. You guys have been consistent. I appreciate you guys. Thank y'all for this next watching this episode. It's been a great one. Expect the tournament next episode. It's gonna be a great thing. The series is going well. We're in the end game, folks. So thank y'all for watching. It's fun. See you guys next